Welcome to the Healthy Eating module. My name is Heather Thomas. I'm a registered dietitian with the Middlesex London Health Unit, and I've been there for about 21 years. So I have a lot of experience working with folks in the community who are interested in improving their healthy eating habits. I'm going to sort of walk you through some of the things you might want to focus on in the Healthy Eating module, and recognizing right off the bat that I know how hard it can be for families and individuals to take the time to really invest in eating well. It's tough for me as a registered dietitian, a mom and stepmom of 4 kids. It's a very hard thing to do. So cut yourself a little bit of slack as we walk through this module. The biggest part of the module is going to be focusing on the 7 principles of healthy eating. So I'm going to run through those a little bit, and we'll touch base on those as we go through the rest of my presentation here. The first one is to know yourself and know your family. Everybody has different likes and dislikes, special diet requirements, things that are going to work or not work within their family. So that's a really important place to start. Secondly, you want to incorporate more fruits and vegetables on a regular basis. So fruits and vegetables are excellent sources of a variety of different nutrients, especially vitamins and minerals, fluid like water. They also will have some fiber in them depending on which you choose. And we want to know that you're trying to incorporate fruits and vegetables a little bit more regularly throughout the recipes that you're trying with your food families, and helping people to do that at home as well. Research demonstrates that when people consume more fruits and vegetables, they tend to have healthier lifestyle habits overall. They tend to have healthier body weights, they engage in more physical activity, and sometimes they even reduce their smoking habits as well. So it's a great way to sort of be a benchmark for overall health and well-being. Next, you want to choose less meat. You don't have to eliminate meat completely. Some people choose to do that because they're vegetarians, but you don't have to. But we do know that meat is a big source of saturated fat, and saturated fat can be a trigger for heart disease and other problems in the person's diet. So trying to limit the amount of red meat is an idea. We want to choose healthy fats. I just mentioned saturated fat. There's a variety of different kinds of fats that we can have in our overall intake and dietary pattern. Not all fats are horrible. Some actually are good, but the bottom line here is to choose them in moderation because they are fat, they add extra calories, and too much is not a good thing. We want to watch our portion size. Portion size is really important. And when you look at the food guide, and I'll talk about that in a second, it'll give you some examples of what a healthy portion size is for all the different foods that you would find within your diet. Essentially, for fruits and vegetables, if it sits in your palm, it's probably 1 portion. So that's sort of a good thing to think about. We want to eat, not drink our calories. We have a big problem with sugar-sweetened beverages overall. And typically when we're consuming a lot of juices, pop, sports drinks, vitamin water, that kind of thing, it adds a lot of calories into our diet. It's better to try to get fruit juice from fruit and vegetables itself. So trying to eat our calories rather than drinking them is a great healthy option. And finally, we want to limit our packaged foods. We want to read labels a little bit more. If you can prepare more foods from scratch at home, you have a better control of the ingredients that are going into your overall diet. And so these are all these 7 principles that kind of fit together like a puzzle to make healthy eating a little bit easier. One of the things that we like to talk about in healthy eating is the plate method. And it's a great way to ensure that you have balance, variety, and moderation in your overall diet every day. If you can follow the plate method for at least 1 meal, ideally a couple of meals, that's a great way to make sure you're getting a wide range of different nutrients and different foods into your diet every day. So what is the plate method? So the plate method starts with a dinner plate, and we're thinking about an 8 or 9-inch dinner plate, not a huge dinner platter like you sometimes find anymore. What you want to do is envision this plate sort of sectioned off like this. So we have half of this dinner plate containing all our different vegetables. So a couple of servings of vegetables, they could be cooked or raw, it could be a salad. Half of the dinner plate should be covered with different veggies. A quarter of the dinner plate would be your starchy vegetable, like a potato, or it could be a side dish of rice or a side dish of noodles. Any sort of starchy component would be a quarter of the plate. And then the remaining quarter of your plate would be for protein. And protein would be any meats that you might have. It could be any sort of beans, peas, or lentils, things of that nature. So you'd have chicken or fish or beef, pork, anything like that. Or if you're a vegetarian, you could have beans, peas, or lentils. Or if you're trying some semi-vegetarian meals, maybe a little bit of those as well. So this isn't quite finished yet. It's very balanced, but we need to make it a little bit better. We're going to round that out with a glass of milk, or maybe a cup of yogurt. And then for dessert, we might have a piece of fruit. And this is a very, very balanced meal. If you do this for at least one meal, ideally even two, you're going to get a variety of different vegetables and fruit in your day. You're going to get your starchy veg, your proteins, and a very balanced approach to healthy eating. This ties in really nicely with some of the messages in Canada's Food Guide to Healthy Eating. And Canada's Food Guide to Healthy Eating is a really good foundational tool that you can use to help people choose healthy foods at all ages and stages in their life. The food guide is next to the tax forms, the number 2 downloadable resource from Health Canada's website. So it's a very, very popular tool. It's a really good resource. How does it help? Well, it helps you choose the number of portion sizes you would need depending on your age and your sex for yourself and your family. It gives you some examples of portion sizes based on the different 4 food groups. And what I like about it, it also gives you some directional messages. So what kinds of foods should I choose within that food guide? For example, for vegetables and fruit, you want to choose more dark orange and dark green ones more often. For grain products, you want to choose at least half of the choices coming from 100% whole grain choices. So it gives you a lot of good directional statements that you can help your families choose foods a little bit better for themselves and their families. It also has some information about water, about choosing a little bit of fat, but not too much fat. And there's even some information about physical activity on the back. So trying to be a good role model in terms of providing physical activity for yourself and your family is really, really key. Now, everybody's got different ideas about healthy eating, and the module's been developed to help you discuss how to implement healthy eating in a lot of different ways. So be prepared to share some of your successes at home, some of the things that have worked for you and maybe not worked as well. And that's really important to remember that your experiences are very, very valuable, and encourage others to share around the table what their experiences have been as well. Not everybody has great relationships with food, and that's something that might come up in your conversations. In fact, having a bad relationship with food can implement some feelings of guilt or feeling bad about food, and this can happen. The challenge is that you might not be as well equipped as another health professional to deal with some of those questions. And so we have some resources available in the community that can help guide you through answering those questions, or can help direct people to the right sources. So a few resources would be the Middlesex London Health Unit, Hope's Garden for folks that might be struggling with having disordered eating or an eating disorder. And certainly there's other agencies like the London Health Sciences Centre or the Canadian Mental Health Association. So reach out to your food family's coordinator, and she can get you in contact with some of those resources in the community. Before you start your healthy eating module, as a facilitator, it might be really helpful for you to watch Dr. Mike Evans' video on YouTube. It's called What's the Best Diet? Healthy Eating 101. That's a great walk through healthy eating principles like we've mentioned here, and will give you a good foundation for what to have a better understanding for before you facilitate your healthy eating module with your families. The highlights of that video really are balance, variety, and moderation. And that's what I've talked about a little bit today as well. The last thing I want to say is if you're looking for some guidance at any time, please contact your food families coordinator and she can help you out and get you guided to where you need to go. But I'd also like to offer my services as a registered dietitian at the Middlesex London Health Unit, and being involved in food families since it started a few years ago. I can provide a great level of resources for your clients and for your families. In fact, in the past, I've done a Q&A session with a number of different groups just to sort of sort out their misconceptions or confusion around nutrition. Nutrition can be confusing, but it doesn't have to be. So reach out through your food families coordinator to get in touch with me so that we can sort some things out for your clients. That's all I have today. All the very best as you start those food conversations with your food families. I wish you the best of luck.